The Iowa Hawkeyes were idle today, but without playing, they still have one of their best seasons ever. And Kirk Ferentz and his Hawkeyes are headed to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. And today, our congratulations go out to Jim Tressel and the Buckeyes of Ohio State. A battle of battles with Michigan. They won it, and they are heading to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl in Arizona. ABC's College Football brings you now to State College, Pennsylvania. There'll be about 112,000 on hand today as the Nittany Lions of Penn State wrap up their Big Ten season against the Spartans of Michigan State. It's Trophy Day around the conference, and the Paul Bunyan Axe will head to Madison as Wisconsin beat Minnesota. The Sweet Sioux Tomahawk goes to Illinois. They beat Northwestern. Ohio State, we mentioned their win, their big one over Michigan. And the old Oaken Bucket partner will be decided this afternoon between Indiana and Purdue. And the standings look like this. Ohio State and Iowa both undefeated in conference play. But that Big Ten quirk of schedule, they won't play each other. So one goes to the big game, one goes to a very big game, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. That brings us down to Penn State and Michigan State. That's our battle this afternoon. Hi again, everybody. Brad Nessler with Bob Greasy. Partner, you and I have been here a lot of times, and in the last 2 years, it always hasn't been a happy valley around Penn State. Pretty happy today, though.
Well, for the last 2 years, you got to remember that this team lost the last 2 seasons, and that was the first losing seasons back-to-back in 70 years at Penn State. Now they're looking at the possibility of winning 10 games in this ball game in this season if they can win out. So this is a big turnaround for Penn State. 23
seniors were introduced before the ball game began. The one that got the largest ovation is the guy that's had the largest season, Larry Johnson.
Well, he is outstanding. He not only is a great running back, running the ball with power and finesse. He has speed and shiftiness. He catches the ball out of the backfield. But the other things that he does on special teams, he kicked off. He can run off the kickoffs, returns. He covers punts. He blocks kicks. He's a full-size back. For my money, he's the best in the country.
You know, we go back to late August. Everybody said Michigan State's maybe the preseason favorite in the Big Ten. They have had an awful year. Their coach has been removed of his duties. Morris Watts, the interim head coach, he comes in here today. Can he get this team ready to play Penn State?
Well, he's done a nice job the last 2 weeks getting them ready to play. We talked to him earlier in the week, and I talked to him before the ball game, and he says, I think if we get off to a good start, everything's going to be all right. I said, what if you don't get off to a good start? He says, well, I don't know. But he's done a good job the few weeks he's been there.
One of the guys that's played brilliantly for them throughout his career. We might be seeing him play his final game. One of the great wide receivers in all of college football.
Charles Rogers, you know, he didn't play his first season. This is his junior year, and we may be seeing him for the last time. The thing I'm impressed with, he's caught 64 passes, more than 64 passes the last 2 seasons. But the thing is, he's averaged over 20 yards a catch. And both those seasons, last year and this year, he's caught like 13 and 14 touchdowns. He doesn't catch the short passes. He makes big plays, and he may be their only ticket to win this ball game today.
He's one of the finalists for the Bolitnikoff Award. He's already spoken about it, that he wants to win it because it kind of sounds like he's not going to be back for another year. Larry Johnson for the Heisman. Is that a possibility? We'll watch it as Penn State plays Michigan State when we come back.
I can't sleep, Mom. There are monsters in my closet.
I have an idea. There, honey. Feel safe?
Now the monsters are into the caravan.
No, they aren't. I'll show you.
Dodge Caravan. A feeling of security no matter what lies ahead.
Told you so.
Sure. Let's hide under the minivan. Great idea.
See Monsters, Inc. now on DVD and in the Dodge Caravan. Get a no extra charge portable DVD or VHS player with any new 2003 Caravan, plus Dodge's 770 powertrain limited warranty.
As your family grows, so do their needs. Is your life insurance coverage keeping up? To help you be absolutely sure, talk to someone who's seen a few changes themselves.
We live where you live.
For life insurance, call your State Farm agent.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Yo, Busta Rhymes! I'm a huge fan. Thank you. I'm on a date with this honey, Erica. Right. Man, you could hook me up if you came by the table and said hi.
See what I can do, man.
Yo, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hey, yo, dog, what's going on, Buster?
Can't you see I'm busy? keeps calling me. I'm gonna rap on my record.
You got disrespected. I don't think I got dissed at all. Why you say that?
Did y'all meet Erica yet? From last night?
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
How can you tell when a whitening toothpaste is whitening? Arm & Hammer Advanced White guarantees whiter teeth.
But how can you tell?
The Whitening Guide. 1 tube, 3 shades whiter. This is serious dental care, so you can have more fun with your mouth.
You know that I love my chilies, chilies with spice, so nice.
There's a place that jazzes up their flame-grilled ribeye and loads their new mashed potatoes with cheddar and bacon.
Chili's.
Want more flavor? Come to Chili's.
Back at State College, Beaver Stadium sold out. Our normal partner, Lynn Swan, couldn't be with us today. Joining us down on the field, Mike Mayock. Mike?
Yeah, Brad, you know, all the attention has been focused on Larry Johnson, Zach Mills, and that Penn State offense, and that's justifiable. But on defense, they've had the most dramatic improvement over the last 5 weeks. Now, on defense, what they've done is they've only given up 9 points a game. They've taken the ball away 14 times, and what I love is they've held opposing offenses to only 4 big plays over 20 yards. Now, defensive coordinator Tommy Bradley has Penn State playing like the glory days, the old bend but don't break philosophy, and that's particularly appropriate with the explosive Charles Rogers on the sideline this afternoon. And one final note. You can't get away from the Johnsons, even on defense here at Penn State, because Larry's dad, Larry Sr., Brad, well, he's the defensive line coach.
No doubt. And boy, what an ovation for Larry Jr. when he took the field out of the tunnel here today. Part of the senior class that was introduced, and as Bob said, when you have back-to-back bad years, these guys rallied around each other and their coach. All of a sudden, everybody said Joe Paterno couldn't coach anymore.
Yeah.
Well, now he's 8-3. On his way maybe to 9-3, and as Bob said, a chance to win 10 by the time they go through their bowl game. It's cold and it's windy, 20 miles an hour or more. We have a chance for some snow, 33 degrees right now, and expect that to drop off. Michigan State won the toss. They deferred, so they've got it teed up and set to kick away. Dave Rayner, Tony Johnson, and Gerald Smith are back for Penn State. It's a line drive. It's going to be taken by Paul Jefferson, the up man, and Jefferson, the starting fullback, gets pretty good yardage out to the 31-yard line. So that's where the Nittany Lions will go to work. And here's a guy almost gets lost in the shuffle. The start of his season was so impressive. That's when Larry Johnson became the huge back that he is, because Zach Mills can do the things that he does, Bob.
Yeah, but make no mistake, it's because of the play of Zach Mills that loosened up the 8- and 9-man box and defenses in the box to allow Larry Johnson to run. Zach Mills has had a great year.
So Penn State works from its own 31-yard line. First play of the ball game. And they fake the toss to Johnson, and they come up throwing to the other Johnson, Tony. And Tony's got a first down out to the 42-yard line. And as Mike said, you can't get away from the Johnsons. Our AT&T wireless starting lineup. Here's the big eaters up front. Joe Iorio's gone from a walk-on to probably an NFL player. Felder, McKelvey, Lenda, and Schmidt are the front group, and that group has stuck together and become better year in and year out. Johnson and Jefferson in the backfield. Williams has been a pretty impressive tight end, and Bryant Johnson and Tony Johnson are the wide receivers. There's Joe Iorio, first guy to ever walk on and become a starter as a freshman in the offensive line for Joe Paterno, and now pretty much everybody thinks he can play at the next level in the National Football League.
And he started all 4 years.
Defensively for the Spartans, Rasmussen, McKinney, Yaster, and Taplin up front. The linebacking core, Medlow, undersized but rangy. Mitchell in the middle gets the start today, and Ronald Stanley. And in the secondary, Watson, Wright, Smith, and Nelson. Thomas Wright is the number 2 tackler in the Big Ten from a secondary position. The only reason he's not number 1, Sean Meyer of Penn State is the top tackler in the Big Ten. Second down and 9. Opening drive for Penn State from the shotgun. And it's Mills. Zach's going to keep it, get what he can, and shoved out of bounds on the Michigan State sideline right about at midfield. Ronald Stanley run him out of bounds. Joe Paterno been on the sideline over there for 53 years, 37 times the head coach. And the last time Michigan State beat Penn State here, Joe wasn't even the head coach. Rip Engel was.
Yeah, he probably had that pea coat. That's an old pea coat.
Same shoes, same pea coat.
Same pea coat for the last 37 years.
Penn State leading the Big Ten in third down conversions. On a 3rd and 3, they'll run an option. And Mills, whoa, late toss, and Johnson's got it on the run. Down the sideline. He might be gone. Knocked out of bounds inside the 10. 41 yards. A dangerous late pitch. And Johnson rips it down the sideline.
And most of your college running backs, when you see something out of the ordinary like that, they will not adjust to it. They'll say, that's not the way we run it in practice. Johnson just calmly and coolly just adjusted to it and say, hey, I noticed you got a problem. Now I'm just going to throw it right over the guy's head. There you go. I can catch that. And now when he gets the ball in his hands, he wants to make every yard that he can.
The key to that is, and you said it in the open, partner, he's got great hands as a receiver. Basically, he was a receiver there.
Well, he can do it all.
Inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal at the 9. Here's the toss to Johnson. Waits for his blockers. Got down just outside the 5. A pickup of almost 4 on the play. Inside the 20 this year, Penn State's better than anybody.
That's outstanding. They're ranked 1st in the Big Ten. That'll tell you a little bit about it. But running the football, Penn State is one of the best in the country. They're like 18th in the nation rushing. And there's a reason why this offense is working so well. Flanagan are loosening things up this year.
2nd and goal, Penn State just outside the Michigan State 5-yard line. Mills fakes the handoff and keeps it himself, and still on his feet. He's a tough runner. He's down to the 2. Brandon McKinney made the tackle.
It's a veteran offensive line, as you mentioned when you introduced them. There's 4 seniors in that offensive line, so next year they're going to be doing a little bit of rebuilding.
Yep.
But that offensive line is one of the reasons why this offense has been so productive this year.
With all the talents Larry Johnson has, they probably don't get the credit they deserve, although he gives them the credit, that's for sure. 3rd down and goal just outside the 2. Play action. Mills wants to throw. Does. Got him. No, he's out of bounds. Jefferson out of bounds, says the headlinesman.
Well, they tried a little play action, which is, on 3rd down, you don't expect a team to run the football. So let's take a look. Michigan State. All right, he's got the ball, but he's out of bounds. His left foot comes down out of bounds before his right foot touched down inside.
Brings out Robbie Gould, 14 of 18 on the year. And this is a chip shot, although it's from the right hash mark, which is never the easiest kick in the world. It's almost too close to have it over on that spot.
Yeah, it's especially for a right-footed kicker.
19-yard field goal attempt to try to give Penn State 3 on its opening march. High snap. Gander got it down. Now he pulls up. He's going to be sacked. Chris is a 3rd-string quarterback. It was a high snap. He tried to pull it down and look for a receiver, and they got to him. Broderick Nelson made the tackle.
I don't know whether he bobbled it when he... Oh, that was really a bad snap, and he didn't get it down. Yeah.
I don't think it was a fake by any stretch.
No, there was no stretch. There was no fake. No, he just... Joe can't believe it. He knows he wanted to get on the board. First drive.
So the ball comes out. The 14-yard line. That's where Gainer went down. And Michigan State will work offensively for the first time. Penn State, good drive. Long run by Johnson. Nothing to show for it. Here's Richard. And Richard's into the secondary on his first carry. And the freshman rumbles out T.J. Duckett-like for 22 yards.
Yeah, if you want to get Michigan State into this ball game, you're doing a pretty good job of it. You missed the field goal, and now here is the true freshman Richard. Some blocking up front. 77 is Stewart on the outside. Love it. And Rogers occupying their men, and the true freshman picks up a big first down, gets them out of their shadow, their own end zone.
Took over as the starting tailback, and Dewan Moss is suspended from the team. Rogers in around, fumble. Who's going to get it? Penn State's got it. It's Sean Mayer. find the handle, but Mayer could.
Well, I like the call. You're being aggressive. You're trying to go after the team. And the quarterback is the one that's trying to hand it to him. Rodgers just tries to take it away, doesn't look at the ball, and just, I mean, I'm sure they practiced that ball in practice, and the ball was put there, right there. Some guys take it that way, and other guys do it like running backs do. And I think it's safer when you do it the way the running backs
It looked like Rodgers was either too deep or the handoff was too shallow, obviously, but
he just tried to take it with a little belly approach, and it didn't work.
Michael Robinson flanking Zach Mills in the shotgun. He goes out as a receiver. Mills looking to throw. He's not going to get the chance. Greg Taplin will sack him there. First sack of the ball game as we check in with John Saunders in New York. John.
All right, Brad, the importance of this game between USC and UCLA. Both need help, but still with a chance to win the Pac-10. Carson Palmer, 34 yards to Kareem Kelly, hauls it in for the touchdown, and the Trojans on the board first and leads 7-0.
All right, John, here we thought Penn State would get points out of their opening drive, but a bad snap on a field goal attempt prevented that. They've got it back now, courtesy of the fumble recovery. And second down and 15. Here's a draw play. Larry Johnson into the secondary, broke a tackle. Johnson down the sideline. He's got it to the 11-yard line. There goes 20 more.
That's just great blocking up front by the offensive line, and a nice play call by Franny Ganner. Let's take a look from behind the offense. Watch the offensive line. Great blocking right there. You got McHugh, the fullback, and Felder right there doing nice jobs with their men. Just huge hole. And then Johnson getting the rest of it by himself.
Boy, the strength and the balance with a guy that big, and he gets it down inside the 11-yard line. It's not first and goal, it's first and 10. It won't matter. He might take it right here. Touchdown! Carries, 77 yards and a touchdown in the opening 4.5 minutes.
That's a pretty good start for Larry Johnson. What does he need? What, 265?
264 gives him 2,000, and we talked about it all week, and everybody said, well, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about winning the ball game. Well, with the start he's got, depending on how many offensive snaps they get, if he keeps playing like this, he might get there. Extra point by Gold is right down the middle. So Penn State takes advantage of the fumble recovery. They take it down, put it in the end zone. Who else? Number 5, the 17th rushing touchdown of the year for Larry Johnson.
You're finally on your own. Hey, hello, you're on my mind, don't you know?
When you can stay connected, yet be free, that's M Life from AT&T Wireless. Plans to keep you connected start at $19.99 a month.
Thrifty.com. Great cars, great rates, 24/7.
Ooh, fajita.
Ooh, fajitas.
Ooh, fajitas.
Ooh, fajitas.
Ooh, fajitas.
Feast your eyes on the new fajita grilled stuffed burrito from Taco Bell.
Ooh, fajitas.
Sizzling strips of marinated steak and grilled veggies.
Ooh, fajitas.
All the great fajita flavors now wrapped to go in a grilled tortilla.
Some high pressure building up here in the north, heading to... Ooh, fajitas.
Taste the new fajita grilled stuffed burrito and, ooh, think outside the bun.
What goes around,
Don't mess with Dodge Ram, Durango, and Dakota. Part of the most powerful, longest-lasting line of trucks. Grab Dodge Dodge's new 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match it.
Thrifty.com. Great cars, great rates, 24/7.
Eagles, Niners. Jeff Garcia leads San Fran. Philly depends on T to keep their hopes alive.
Michaels and Madden are here for Monday night.
7-0 Penn State on Larry Johnson's touchdown run of 11 yards. 10:19 remaining in the first quarter. He's off to a good start. We'll keep track of him. He's 187 away from 2,000. If you're scoring at home. That one deep in the end zone.
I mean, you come into the game and you say, what are the chances a guy that needs 265 yards is going to get 265 yards? But this defense for Michigan State is not that good against the run.
They're 100th in the country.
Yes, and it could be done.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Pacific Life, annuities, insurance, and investments rely on the strength of Pacific Life. Circuit City, we know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And AT&T Wireless. AT&T Wireless brings you M-Life, your mobile life made better. Michigan State fumbled on its opening drive. Now they start at their own 20-yard line. Straight ahead they go with Richard. And he got out maybe 3 yards to the 23. Tim Falls was in on the stop defensively. Damon Dowdell has come in with Jeff Smoker with his suspension. And he's really played pretty well. 10-4 his touchdown interception ratio.
That is very good. He has started 4 games this year. Started 1 game last year. So this is his 6th start for the Spartans overall.
Started only 6 games, and 2 of them were against Purdue. We're going to keep track of that, although it's a bucket game. That one thrown in the turf as Haynes had him all wrapped up.
Yeah, he threw it right into the turf. You need to make an effort to get it back to the line of scrimmage. He was outside the tackle box.
But he was about 3 yards short where that thing landed.
Yeah.
So intentional grounding. Bill Limonier is our referee. Now remember, he's got to get it back to the 20, which is the blue and white stripe.
Now he's outside. Now you can ground it. But he just threw it about 3 yards ahead of him. He needed to throw it about 10 yards forward.
As Morris Watts, the interim head coach for Michigan State, after Bobby Williams was relieved of his duties, and Morris, a very loyal soldier, if you want to put it that way. He's been with Michigan State 3 different times, been around a long time.
Yeah.
A fine gentleman, and at 64 years of age, you don't know if he's coaching the last time in that green windbreaker or not. Most people would expect that's the case. He kind of thinks that way unless he comes back as an assistant in some capacity. Here's Dowdell. He'll take off. Whether that was a quarterback draw by design, I don't think so. I think he just couldn't find anything, and he got back near the original line of scrimmage.
No, that was a pass. He just got a little happy feet in the pocket, took off running, and there was no place to go. Now Penn State is going to get great field position after this punt.
And they've got a dangerous guy in Bryant Johnson that'll be waiting on Daly's kick. Daly averaging just under 40 per kick, and there's Bryant Johnson. Also, Daly will be inside his 10. Ooh, they got a little heat on him. Not a very good punt. Let's see if Johnson can handle it on the bounce. He wants to stay away from it, so the roll becomes a great one for Michigan State as it goes all the way down to the 25-yard line. What looked like a dud ends up being a 56-yard punt. 8:44 to go first quarter. Penn State by a touchdown.
Check it out.
Introducing the all-new Ram Heavy Duty. Grab Dodge's new 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match it.
In 1868, an American tradition was beginning, and Pacific Life was founded, both built on principles of persistence, performance, and strength. 135 years later, those beliefs still guide Pacific Life. It's how we help so many businesses and individuals reach their financial goals. For insurance, annuities, and investments, rely on the strength of Pacific Life. Proud sponsor of the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl.
For men, every morning it's the same routine. The desperate search for a way to relieve the pain after shaving. There's a better way to soothe your skin. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm is an advanced blend of moisturizers and vitamins that soothe and actually improve your skin. Nivea for Men, more evolved skincare.
What is wrong with you?
Penn State looking for its 9th win of the season. It would be the 24th time under Joe Paterno they'd reached that plateau. They lead 7-0 here in the first quarter. And now they start their second offensive march at the 25-yard line. Draw play to Johnson. Larry Johnson broke one tackle and got about 9 more. So Larry Johnson off to a great start for number 5. First on the option play from Zach Mills, the late high pitch. He just snatched it and went 41 yards down the sideline. They didn't get the field goal or the touchdown out of that, but after the fumble recovery, he takes it 11 yards here, pulling his way to the end zone. That's the score we have so far. He showed the speed, the power, the versatility. 86 yards already. Second down and 1. He's got it again, and he's got the first down.
He's averaging 14 yards a carry. A great start. And as you mentioned, Brad, Michigan State came into this game ranked 100th out of 117 teams defensively against the run. And Michigan State is trying to stop it. That's the one thing they want to do, is force Zach Mills to throw the football, but they're not doing it. Is stopping him very good so far.
That's for sure. First down at the 36-yard line. This time they will throw. On play action. Mills fires far side over the head of Bryant Johnson. Pretty nice coverage out there by Broderick Nelson. And it'll bring up second down and 10. Coming up next Saturday, we got a great lineup of Thanksgiving weekend college football for you. 1 o'clock Eastern. Most of you will see Kenny Dorsey lead undefeated Miami against Syracuse. And then at 8 o'clock Eastern, you'll see number 8 Notre Dame against number 7 USC, or Florida State. That's all next Saturday on ABC Sports. The class of college football. When last we heard, Notre Dame led Rutgers 35-0. So it looks like they're heading out to play the Trojans with another victory.
Trojans are up 14-0.
Second down and 10. Michael Robinson. Direct snap, late pitch. Larry Johnson, same play, only a different quarterback. Almost the same result. Not run out of bounds until he can get to the 48-yard line. Larry Johnson, I think, is on his way to 100 in the first quarter. 7:31 remaining.
Yeah. Well, from behind the defense, Mike Robinson came in, took from the shotgun, just a little option. This is
that's like stealing.
Oh, this is like stealing. It's almost too easy.
I guess I was wrong. He's got 105 yards already.
They bring Mike Robinson in. That adds a little bit of excitement to the offense. Defensively, they do a lot of things with him on offense.
Larry Johnson is the offense so far. Now, the fullback, Jefferson, breaking tackles, and the big fella gets down to the 32-yard line. He doesn't carry it often, but he makes them count. That's only his 15th carry of the season.
You got to throw him a few crumbs every now and then.
A little bit of sugar for the fullback.
Those fullbacks, you got to let them you either throw it, let him carry it out in the field, or let him score a touchdown inside the 5-yard line every now and then.
That's his season-long run of 15. And Joe Paterno pacing that sideline. Again, spending time with Joe the last 2 days is an experience in itself, as it always is.
Yeah.
First downs, Penn State dominating.
Good experience.
Yes, absolutely. So Larry Johnson, we may not have to worry about 264. We might have to think about 400. Zach Mills, the throw is complete. Nice toss to Gerald Smith. That's a first down. As they move the chains and we move to New York, here's John again.
Carson Palmer's off to a terrific start for USC already with a touchdown pass. This one he wants to go even deeper. 51 yards to Kerry Colbert. who just stumbles across into the end zone at a 14-0 lead for the Trojans.
We're having quite a day here. Our director, Steve Bimes, a USC guy, and we've got a producer, Bruce Clark, who's an Indiana guy. My partner's from Purdue, the Oaken Bucket. Everything's up for grabs.
Old Oaken Bucket. We got to get it back.
Here's a toss. Larry Johnson, good-looking play, cuts up inside the 10. First and goal, Penn State. Give him 11 more.
I like the way he runs. He runs so decisively. When he finally makes his mind up, he's got all different kinds of speeds. He's got the power speed. He's got the finesse. This is a little catch one-handed. He knocks the ball. Now he try to go outside. No, I'm going inside. Now he just powers his way through 3 or 4 different tacklers. It's just very impressive.
Brant Gander says he's doing things I didn't even think he could do.
Yeah.
He's learned patience.
Yeah.
The burst into the hole as he showed there, and look at the numbers, and we're only about halfway through the first quarter. First and goal at the 9. He'll get it again. Got a nice block. Waits for the next block. Got to the 5. It'll be second down there. Matt Schmidt had a nice block to spring him out there to the 5-yard line. Well, Penn State looking for its 9th win of the year, and they're off to a great start. At home, 23 seniors playing their final game here at Beaver Stadium. And it's been the Larry Johnson show so far. Way over 100 yards already in the opening 9 minutes of the ball game. He's at 120, and that last carry takes it down to the Michigan State 5-yard line. Johnson and Jefferson will flank Zach Mills in the shotgun on second and goal. Zach, quarterback draw, straight up the middle. Touchdown, Penn State. Right now, Michigan State doesn't even know who to look for. Johnson has trampled him. Jefferson, the fullback, has bowled him up the middle, and now it's the quarterback for a touchdown.
They haven't stopped anything about the Penn State offense. They haven't stopped the run. They haven't stopped the pass. The only way they were stopped was the bad extra point, the field goal attempt.
Now there'll be an extra point for Gold, his second of the day. So a 75-yard march didn't take long. Gold to try to make it 14-0 Nittany Lions. High snap again. Gander got it down. Gold got it through. 2 minutes and 45 seconds was the drive. Zach Mills, the leader of this offense, does the honors from 5 yards out.
Rob Schneider has been a gigolo. He's been an animal. And on December 13th, a curse will make him a woman. From some of the guys who brought you Mr. Deeds and Deuce Bigelow.
Show me what you got. Come on. That really does hurt.
Rob Schneider.
Scoot. I don't think so.
The hot chick. Rated PG-13. See it December 13th.
Hey, we gotta get going. I'll put the hors d'oeuvres in the car. Just grab my brother's gift, okay? You forgot my brother's gift.
No, I didn't forget. It said Circuit City. We're gonna pick it up on the way. Forget. I didn't forget.
You forgot. That's why with Express Pickup, you can order gifts online and pick up within minutes. It's that fast. Circuit City, we're with you.
Wow, that was fast.
I have no idea.
What?
Huh?
Suzuki, proud presenting sponsor of the Heisman Trophy.
If the only obstacles you ever encounter are speed bumps, if you've never used mud as toothpaste, get out of the way. Everybody's talking up the Quadrunner Vincent 500 from Suzuki. And now that a brand new Vincent with a manual transmission has arrived, who knows when they'll stop. The Suzuki Vincent. Get out of the way.
This holiday season, there's only one guy tough enough to take on Arnold Schwarzenegger. According to Jim's Jim Belushi.
I know what you're thinking.
Jingle All the Way, ABC tonight.
They don't have the white mustaches. Got Mills. Well, Zach just went 5 yards for a touchdown to cap the last drive. David Kimball's kick. Returnable this time. Roderick Maples will take it. And he gets out close to the 29-yard line, about a 25-yard return. Morris Watts, assistant coach for many, many years at Michigan State, the interim head coach now. We talked to him about what this group of young fellas is playing for today.
Well, I think any time that you're a competitor, you know, and you snap the chin strap on and head out to the field, that there's always something to play for, you know. You're either going to leave the rest of your teammates with a great feeling about the type of person that you are, and especially yourself, you know. When you leave that field, there's going to be feelings the next morning when you look in the mirror to shave, what you think about yourself as a competitor, how you played the last game. And really, you know, most people remember the last game.
Right now, if they look to shave, there'd be a lot of nicks and cuts. They're down 14-0, but a pickup of 13 there on the throw to Charles Rogers.
His first catch. Morris has been in the business for 42 years, and he says, you know, if this is it, that's all right. And he says, I'd like to coach some more, either college or pros. And he says, if it's an offensive coordinator, fine. If it's just coaching quarterbacks, that's okay too.
He also said, if it's none of that, I'm going to go coach my grandkids out in Arizona. Straight up the middle. Nice run. And almost 10 more. David Richard. The AT&T wireless starting lineup. Here's the big fellas up front. Otney is the guy that kind of sets the tone. You can tell by the look on his face. Wheeler, Tate, Harker, and Stewart, the front wall for the Spartans. Gable and Randall, Lovett, Rogers. David Richards, a true freshman who we mentioned has taken over for DeJuan Moss. And he's done a nice job.
Done a nice job. That's a nice run so far.
Jaron Hayes right now takes his spot after he picked up good yardage. Hayes a little more of a jitterbug. Here's Dowdell on a bootleg. Throw short, got his man, and close to the 40-yard line. Penn State defensively. Mike Mayock talked about how well they played in the last few games. Here's the reason why. These guys up front, Bronson Adams, Kennedy, and Haynes, 3 fifth-year seniors who've seen the good times and the bad. Tolles, Ryland, and Derek Wake are the linebackers, with Capone, the middle linebacker, out today with injury. Scott, Mayer, Harrell, Gardner, the secondary. And there's my guy. I love this guy. Anthony Adams. He goes full blast even at the dinner table. Here's a hand on the right side, and first down run for Jaron Hayes. Brian Scott, the corner, came up to make the stop.
The Spartans are doing a nice job offensively moving the ball. If that one drive they tried to give the reverse back to Rogers, Morris Watts on the sideline calls the offensive plays. He was the offensive coordinator before he came down, took over the interim head coach, continues to call the plays from the sideline. Says, I haven't done it very often from the sideline. He says, but I'm doing fine.
It's a whole different look down there. At the 32, first down. Good looking march going for Michigan State. Both wideouts to the left side, and that's where Dowdell is going. And he's going deep for the end zone. Incomplete. Charles Rogers says, how about a flag on Gardner?
Yeah, I think he should.
The call.
I think he should, because the ball was in the air, and as Rogers was trying to go around him, Gardner stuck him out and stopped him. Take a look at the top of the screen. Rogers, number 1, going to go down, stop, and go. Now the ball's in the air, and you can't do that. If the ball were not in the air, as long as Rogers is in front of you, you can block him and shed him off. But the ball was in the air.
Well, Chuck had a complaint there, a vital one, it appears. He'll trot out the same way. 1 catch for him so far today. 4 wideouts in this group for Dowdell. And again, he rolls off the play action. Whoa! What a collision. First down, and he hangs on to it. That's just Agim Shabai, and they almost could call him bye-bye after as hard as he got hit there. Wow.
He's a true freshman, and what I was going to say is, my man Dowdell, the quarterback, doesn't have a lot of experience, and you shouldn't be looking back, throwing the ball back into trouble like this. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it, but he's looking back. Now you see all these guys that are around him right here. He took a hit.
Boy, did he ever, but he held on.
He did.
On the option. Dowdell, late pitch, got it to Richard, and he tiptoes out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Let's check in with John Saunders in New York. John?
Brad, a lot of scoring as usual in the Pac-10. Already 14-0. Carson Palmer with a couple of touchdown passes back again. He runs out of a pack, sees there's an opening down the sidelines, and goes after the end zone. Flipped, gets it down to the 1-yard line, and Justin Fargas did the rest from there. 21-0, USC with the lead.
I don't know if anybody's played as well as Carson Palmer the last 5 or 6 weeks. All the potential everybody talked about, and it's all of a sudden blossomed under Norm Chow and the gang at USC. From the 16, Hayes down to the 10. He's about a yard short of the first down.
You know, Brad, the running backs, you know, they've had some problems. Dewan Moss was suspended earlier in the year. Four of the top 5 running backs for the Spartans are true freshmen. The three tailbacks and one of the 2 fullbacks. So they got a lot of young people back in the backfield.
Hayes stays in there at the tailback spot on a 3rd down, a little less than a yard. And he'll get the call. And no. It's Tolles. Derek Tolles, the linebacker, made the hit. Here comes the field goal unit. Big hit by Derek Tolles, who they're hoping to get about 40 snaps out of today.
He made the start in place of Lamar Stewart. Stewart's got a shoulder problem, and as you mentioned, enzyme deficiency problem with Tolles allows him only 35 plays or so, maybe 40, depends on the weather.
Dave Rayner, and he missed it. 28-yard field goal and never had a chance. Pushed it to the left badly. So Michigan State has a good-looking drive and nothing to show for it.
Exactly right. You need some positive stuff, especially when you're on the road, but especially what this Michigan State team has been through the last 3 weeks.
So Penn State will take over with a 2-touchdown lead. Joe Paterno talking with us, and we mentioned it a little bit as we opened up the game about how special this class of seniors has been to him because of the tough times of a couple of 5-win seasons, and how they got together and said, we don't want to go out this way. We want to go out as a good football team. They are a good football team. Joe says we're not great, but we're pretty darn good. Right now they're good enough to lead by 2 touchdowns. Here's a counter. Larry Johnson tripped up. Just getting a hand in there before he could get moving. I think was maybe Taplin. No, it was Askew. Matthias Askew just put a big paw out there and got Larry in the foot. Tripped him up for a loss of 3. So that's the first time he's had a loss on a play today. Larry Johnson, that is. And it brings up 2nd down along 13.
Well, the Spartans are starting to get an extra man up in the box, 7, 8 guys just to stop the run.
Bryant and Tony Johnson both split to the right side, but it's a middle screen, and it's Larry Johnson. And he's out to the 27, almost the 28-yard line.
Yeah, that's nice call by Fran Ganner. You get 8 guys in the box, drop back, and make it look like you're going to throw the ball downfield. It's not a draw. It's just a little shovel screen pass to your main back. Gets the defense dropping off, gets your offensive line downfield in front of them.
That's the 39th reception by Larry Johnson this year out of the backfield, and that's an ongoing running back school record. He comes out right now. Michael Robinson comes in.
Look at this defense, stacked against the run.
Robinson comes out of that backfield in motion. They throw, tipped, and almost intercepted. Tony Johnson was the intended receiver, skipped off his hands. And it's going to be punting time for Penn State. So that's the first time Michigan State's come up with a stop. And they should get pretty good field position out of this kick. Agim Shavai, the guy that caught the pass and held on earlier in the Michigan State drive, is in punt return formation. Dave Royer, another guy playing his final game for the Nittany Lions, number 14, set to punt. Good snap, and Royer hangs it up. Shavai has to let it go. It bounces back toward him, takes a Penn State bounce to about the 32, maybe the 33-yard line. We'll call it a 40-yard punt for Royer, and it is good field position for Michigan State. So we'll see if they can get something going again. The last drive was fruitful until they tried the field goal, which looked like it would be a sure thing, and it wasn't even close. Dowdell will line them up at the 32-yard line. Richard back there as the single setback. Fake it to him. Dowdell comes up throwing. Completes. Got about 5, maybe 6. B.J. Lovett, one of the captains offensively, makes a catch. His first one of the day. Lovett's best game against Iowa. He had 7 catches. There's his numbers on the year. So second down and 4 as we're in the final 70 seconds of the first quarter. A first quarter that's belonged to Penn State on their home turf. On second down. Richard, not much. Got about a yard. That's it. Jimmy Mitchell, the linebacker, made the stop.
Brad, one of the things, this is through our Dodge defensive playbook, when you get inside the 10-yard line, as we are right here, one of the things you got to look for is for a team to blitz. Now watch number 2, Tolles. He's going to blitz right here. The closer you get to the end zone, the more aggressive the defense gets. Right there, Tolles coming right through the hole. You got to expect him when you get down near the end zone that defense is going to become more aggressive. That's what Penn State did. They got in there and they stopped them from getting any points.
Crowd comes to life for the defense on a 3rd down and 3. Dowdell across the middle, in and out of the would-be grasp of Charles Rogers. It was thrown behind his helmet. And it's time to give it up. Rogers is saying, man, you got to get it in front of him.
Yeah, the problem is, you know, he struggled all year, and he's been a good soldier about it. He's been a leader on the team. You change quarterbacks from a guy, Smoker, who has started a lot of football games for you. Go to a guy that's only started 6 games, you know, all the throws are not going to be there.
So Jason Daly is set to punt. Brian Johnson waits on the other end. This one a better kick. Johnson has to let it go. He better hope it gets to the end zone.
You know he's hoping it gets in the end zone.
He's saying, I don't want to go talk to Joe. I don't want to go talk to Joe, but it made the end zone. It's a 61-yard punt, but it'll come out to the 20-yard line. Coming up on the Capital One halftime show, John Saunders and Terry Bowden will have scores and highlights from around the country, including a look back. If you missed it, Ohio State's thrilling win over Michigan. And again, our congratulations. Jim Tressel and the Buckeyes have a shot at the national championship for the first time.
34 years.
Yep, long time.
Since 1960. In fact, no Big Ten team has won unanimous. Michigan won part of it in 97, but not since Michigan, not since Ohio State in 68. 34 years.
Brian hears you say they won half of it. We'll be all over the old man. That is kind of the way it ended up, but 1-yard gain for Sean McHugh, the fullback. In this instance, Taplin made this stop at the 21-yard line. And that's going to bring the first quarter to a close. Joe Pa's troops controlled the first 15 minutes. He let them out, and he's trying to lead them to his 336th win and their 9th of the year. They got a good head start. They lead by 14.
Allstate presents Good Hands Flashback. In the 1979 Cotton Bowl, Notre Dame quarterback Joe Montana led the Irish back from a 23-point deficit against Houston. With 2 seconds remaining in the game, Montana found Chris Haynes for an 8-yard touchdown pass to tie the score. The subsequent extra point gave Notre Dame the 35-34 victory and the 600th win in their storied football tradition.
Let's say that this is your car. Now, if you do things like drive the speed limit and keep a safe distance from 18-wheelers and avoid accidents, Allstate could save you up to 20% off your auto insurance bill. That's 20% more money you'll have to put towards, say, I don't know, trip to Alaska. So, there you go. It's the Allstate Safe Driver discount. Call for yourself and find out how the right hands make all the difference.
Hey, Don! Hey, what's up? You going to Tommy's party? I can't, I'm working. Oh, break.
The Dodge SXTs. 4 cool cars. And you won't have to work 2 jobs just to buy one.
Don, you made it!
I like your hat.
Grab Dodge's 770 powertrain limited warranty. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match it.
take your hand like this, put these 2 fingers down, and hold it with your thumb, and you go, hook 'em! Hook 'em!
Texas A&M faces Texas at noon Eastern, followed by Colorado, Nebraska, Friday on ABC.
In this vast financial arena, where banking takes place worldwide, PSECU is at your fingertips.
Closer than you think.
Just a phone call away. Right there when you need us, within reach in your neighborhood. Or the other side of the world.
Closer than you think.
Across the state, the nation, even around the globe. Anytime, anywhere. PSECU, your financial link. We're closer than you think.
Skycam 16 with Sky Zoom. Only on WNEP-TV, the news station.
The Nittany Lion faithful have had reason to cheer today. They lead after a quarter, 14-0. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Mike Mayock with you, along with our ABC crew from Beaver Stadium and State College. Penn State with a 2nd down and 9 now, working from its own 21-yard line. Zach Mills trying to go over the middle to Casey Williams, who's tight end, incomplete. Broken up by Ronald Stanley, the linebacker. And it brings up 3rd down and 9.
I think one of the nice things that Penn State has done this year is they've spread the ball around. Fran Ganner, after the last 2 years, I think he got the okay from Joe to go out and just open it up. Do whatever you have to do
after
to make some plays.
36 years, he let Franny just go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it was about time.
And with that, the running game and everything else opened up. 1 for 3 on their 3rd down conversions.
A kid named Zach Mills had a lot to do with it, too.
He'll have a lot to do with this play on 3rd and 9. Zach throws, almost picked off. Nice coverage by Broderick Nelson. He had the inside position and almost picked that ball off. So Penn State's going to have to give it up again. And Michigan State, the last couple times the Nittany Lions have had it, have put the stop on them. Back-to-back 3-and-outs for Penn State. Royer to kick. Again, Shabai is on the other end. Royer from inside his own 10-yard line. And Shabai might have a chance at this one. He will from the 30. Got one block. Cuts outside. Mayer's going to run him down. Got about 8 yards on the return. So Michigan State will have decent field position as they'll work from the 38-yard line. This was the scene last week in Minneapolis at the Metrodome, and that's got to be one of the greatest rides, Kirk Ferentz, you've ever taken. The head coach of the Hawkeyes along with us. And Coach, congratulations not only on that victory last week, but I understand the weather's pretty nice in Pasadena this time of year.
Well, Brad, it's not a bad prize at all. We're just so thrilled for our football team, and I want to extend my congratulations to Ohio State. They've got an excellent team as well. They had a great season also. You got to go, I guess, a lot of years back, or maybe there's never been a happier Saturday for two teams in that you get a chance to go to the Rose Bowl, and the other team that's undefeated that you didn't get a chance to play is going to the national championship. I mean, the Big Ten's got to be pretty happy today. I think so. You know, I know there's a lot of flack that was thrown out there in the past out of season, and I told the people that asked me about it, I think it's a cyclical thing, and certainly this year I thought the league was extremely strong. Obviously, Ohio State's got a great football team. We're very proud of what our players have done out there on the field. We're watching a pretty good football team in the blue uniforms today as well.
Kirk, you took over this program 4 years ago and have turned it around in a matter of in 4 years. How did you do it? What was the turning point? Give us a little bit of how you did this.
Well, Bob, I think the big thing when I came here 4 years ago, after being here for 9 years as an assistant, I knew I was coming back to a great place. Iowa, since Coach Fry came in the late 70s, has been a great place to coach football. It's a great place for young men to play football. And, I was just very confident that if we did the right things, if we all worked hard and worked as a team, good things would happen for us, and fortunately that's how it panned out this year. Kirk, I guess all of us, we're like fans in that we can say coulda, shoulda, woulda, but it's got to be killing Iowa fans. As great as the season was, you had a big lead on Iowa State. I mean, you could be looking at undefeated. It was that close. It was that close. So, we ended up losing the ball game by 5 points, and I give Iowa State credit. They were the better team in the second half that afternoon, and I hate to play that game. I refuse to play it as a coach. I never want to look back, and I told the team after the game, the important thing is what we did with the loss, how we handled it, would we learn, and would we improve on a weekly basis? And that's exactly what our team's done. So I just couldn't be more proud of the effort the guys have put in since that time.
Brad Banks had a hell of a year, huh?
Well, he sure did, Bob, and I'm not here to be his cheerleader, but you think about a guy that threw 25 touchdown passes, ran for 5 more, and, 4 interceptions is all he did. I think you know a little something about playing winning quarterback, maybe the all-time great at that one. The decisions he made during the course of the year, the bad place he kept us out of. You want to talk about a guy leading a team, and a one-year player is just a phenomenal story.
I know a lot of people have said it's too bad that Brad didn't have one more game to play, because some teams have 2 and 3 games left, as we watch the punt return by Bryant Johnson, and he's got a hole. He might take it. Bryant Johnson down the sideline. This will be a Penn State touchdown. 81 yards.
Boy, is that guy a good player.
Is he ever? Just one of the many Johnson good players, huh?
He is a senior, right?
He is.
Thank you.
And so is Larry. Bryant Johnson puts Penn State further in front, 20-0. And coach, as we kind of wrap up that thought, Brad Banks, a tremendous season for you. The Heisman ballots are out there in everybody's hands. I guess I would urge them all to just hold on to him a couple more weeks and think about it some more.
The big thing I would say there, Brad played 12 games like most other quarterbacks or other players that are contenders. And, the fact that we finished last week, I don't think, just look at what he's done for our football team, what he's done for the program, and what he did this season. I think it's not so much when you play the 12 games, but it's how you play them. And what a great season Brad had.
Robbie Gould's extra point is up and good. Kirk, I'm going to put something up on the screen for you, even though you're not playing in this game. How does that look up there on the top? I like that.
That looks awfully good to us. I'll promise you. The whole state of Iowa is very proud of that.
Coach, go have some fun. Celebrate with your team. Congratulations.
Brad, Bob, great to be with you. Appreciate you having me on.
Congratulations.
Kirk Ferentz,
thank you very much.
His team on their way to the Rose Bowl. Ohio State on its way to the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Penn State might be on their way to the Capital One Bowl. After this return for a touchdown, they're up by 21.
Stood there bold. Okay, see how the side of the rails wore more than the other side? Felt like a million. Felt like number one. Like a...
What are you handing down to your kids? Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
The Nokia 7210 phone. The new pocket translator. We make picture messaging easy so you can see your world in a whole new way. Nokia, connecting people.
Dude, I haven't seen him. He was supposed to be here an hour ago.
Can anyone here play the bass?
Oh.
Is there a bass player in the house?
Daniel's Original Hard Cola, a premium malt beverage as unique as the people who drink it. Come as you are.
Introducing the Bowflex Ultimate. Quite possibly the best home fitness machine ever made. Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. Own the new Bowflex Ultimate with no money down and monthly payments lower than many health club dues. Call and ask for a free video and brochure or visit us on the web today. The new Bowflex for ultimate results.
Tuesday, Bonnie Hunt gives thanks because she's got Tom Hanks.
You're stunning.
Do you want to make out?
Tom Hanks guest stars on a new Life with Bonnie, Tuesday on ABC.
Penn State with a commanding lead here in the second quarter. The kick down to the 1-yard line. Roderick Maples. And Maples couldn't get to the 20. Got popped before he got there. Jimmy Mitchell on the special teams makes the stop. Well, we I'm going to take a look at who Grease thinks hot and who's not. Coach of the Year candidates.
I paired all the other guys off. These are my 5 guys. Any one of these guys could win the Coach of the Year. Tressel and Ferentz, both from the Big Ten. What a great job Mark Rick has done. And, of course, Willingham at Notre Dame. And Coker, well, you know, Coker, he hadn't lost a game.
Right.
2 years he hadn't lost a game.
That's a pretty good group you got there.
How could you have a great year like Iowa did and Kirk Ferentz
not be the coach of the year?
Not be the coach of the year in the Big Ten.
Run out to the 31. It's going to be good for the first down. It's a windy day and it's cooling off. And even when you have cold days, you've got guys that are pumped full of antifreeze.
Yep. Yep.
They have to be.
They got gloves on.
That's a good move.
They're keeping their hands and their feet and their head warm. The heck with the rest of it.
I think that was supposed to say we are number 1. I think the other 2 guys went in and got some clothes on.
I think they have entrance exams here.
Got to check it. Here's Hayes trying to bounce it outside. He takes a big lick at the line of scrimmage. Time for our Aflac trivia questions. This week, Larry Johnson shares the Penn State record with 3 200-yard-plus rushing games in one season. What Michigan State running back did it 4 times in one season? That's a good question. Wow. I'll give you the answer a little bit later on. So a 2nd down and 10 at the 31-yard line. Hayes stays in there at the tailback spot. Nice play action by Dowdell, and he's got Michael Haynes all over him. They finally get him off his back, and he throws and almost had it picked off by Brian Scott.
Yeah. You can see the inexperience in Damon Dowdell. You know, just the little things about, you know, there's like when Haynes was coming upfield, you shouldn't have tried to get around him. You should have widened it and then tucked back inside. Watch this right now. Don't try and get around him. Now you're taking up too much time. Now you've got your receivers and everybody else are out of sync and out of line, and he just threw it away. That's the best thing he did. But it just takes time to get in the line of fire on the field where they're firing real bullets. Not do it in practice, do it in a game.
0 for 4 on their 3rd down conversions, and they were last in the Big Ten coming in. And those stats aren't going to improve that standing. Dowdell, here comes Haynes again. Now he's trying to weave through some traffic, but there's just too many blue shirts around.
Very impressive with Penn State, how they've improved. We've done them a couple of times this year, and then we did them last year and the year before. Larry Johnson, the defensive line coach, getting after those 3 fifth-year seniors we talked about. That defensive line is the strength of this defensive team. And as Joe said yesterday, he says he was proud of his seniors because they're the one that turned this program around.
So another punting situation for Jason Daly. Line drive kick. Brian Johnson might have another crack. He went 81 last time. He takes this one at the 20. This would be 80 if he got going, but finally he's put down as he got out to the 46-yard line. 26 more yards on the punt return, so he's well over 100 just in that capacity. 21-0 Penn State. 11:46 till halftime.
Hey, maybe that they're French? Yeah. Oh! What do you think? I got that insurance or something?
What?
It puts money in your wallet in case you're like flat on your back.
What? Never heard of it.
Well, you can get it at work.
Get what?
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Oh, I'm not the norm. I'm not camera friendly.
You know, this year Chris Farley would have been 38 years old.
Chris was a great, funny guy, and everybody loved him. But he made a bad choice.
He started doing drugs, and once Chris started, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't stop.
And we all miss him dearly.
Don't put an end to the laughter in your own life.
The Chris Farley Foundation asks you to please think,
laugh,
and live.
There's a place that I travel when I want to roam, and nobody knows it but me. The roads don't go there, and the signs stay home, and nobody knows it but me. is far, far away and way, way afar. It's over the moon and the sea. And wherever you're going, that's wherever you are. And nobody knows it but me. Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
Those are not the only 3 choices. None of those would be bad ones, I guess.
Yep.
They got Larry checked off already. He's had a great first half with 117 yards on 11 pops. He'll get another try right here. And he gets up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. And partner, I got to tell you, I don't know if it was a Nebraska game or when we did Wisconsin and Penn State, and you looked at me during one of the timeouts and said, this kid is special, and he's going to be a great one at the next level. You were right.
I told you that 8-9 games ago, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I think, you know, he better get it quickly, though. I mean, he needs 147, 48 something. He needs 265. You know, talking with Joe yesterday, we kind of got the feeling that Joe knew what he needed. But I think he better get it in the first half, first 3 quarters, because if it comes down to the last and they're way ahead, I don't think Joe's going to put him back in.
Well, here goes about 8 more. Joe would not embarrass another team to try to get a player a record is kind of what we're trying to say.
Yeah,
and
that's what we, you know, he didn't tell us that. We told him that.
Yeah. Yeah. We tried to talk him into saying something, and all he said was,
you guys, we just want to win the ball game.
We're just going to win the game. And, you know, there's a lot of seniors, and we want to get them in the game. And it's a, you know,
we knew what he'd say,
yeah,
but we tried to bait him into saying that he'd get Larry a chance for 2,000. I think the offensive line will be the ones that'll make the request if it really comes down to getting close. At the 41, it's Zach Mills. And Zach's going deep. Got a man. Got a touchdown, Brian Johnson.
Little stop and go, executed perfectly.
41-yard strike from Mills to Johnson. What a beautiful throw.
Zach Mills has made a big difference in this offense this year, as we've talked about earlier. But Brian Johnson leads the team in receptions coming in and catches his 4th touchdown pass of the year.
That actually ties him with Lukac for the team lead in touchdown catches. The backup tight end has 4 touchdowns. Brian Johnson with his 4th right there on a picture-perfect play. And that's Robbie Gould in for the point after. Penn State dominating and leading by 4 touchdowns in the second quarter. It doesn't get much prettier than this, partner.
Watch now as he's going to go down and stutter right there. He makes a stutter right there. Nelson kind of stops, and then Bryant goes around him, and Mills puts this thing right on the money. That's a nice, you know, I like the play selection too because it was on the positive side of the field. Fran Ganner gets inside the 50, goes inside the 40. The defensive backs don't think for some reason or other, once you get inside the 40, you're going to throw a takeoff. Little stop and go. Perfect execution.
You would say it's a perfect pass. If Swanee was here, he'd say it was a perfect route. And by the way, we want to send our very best to Lynn Swan, his wife Charina, and the whole family of Brenda Keepler, Lynn's mother-in-law, who passed away after a long fight with cancer this week. A great lady there in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania for the services today. That's why Swanee's not with us. And Lynn and Charina, you guys know how we feel about you.
Yeah.
And our thoughts and prayers from not only Bob and I, but the entire guys in the truck and everybody on the crew yesterday. Swanee wanted me to pass along as well. So
for sure,
our thoughts and prayers are with your family. Now Michigan State will try to go to work, and you just wonder what they're thinking right now. Can they get their heads and bodies back in this thing down 4 touchdowns?
This is a scenario that you're worried about if you were a coach for Michigan State. Would it come to this? Would we go on the road and a difficult opponent? The first 2 games that Morris took over were close games. They scored a lot of points. Now you go on to get a tough opponent in their ballpark, and last game of the year, what does everybody have to play for? It's not turning out real well.
Remember, they had that one good-looking drive where you thought if they got a touchdown, they'd be back in the hunt, and then they missed the field goal on top of it. Here's Dowdell trying to lay one out, and incomplete, intended for Charles Rogers, who almost caught that thing. Charles Rogers, who is set after the last ball game He doesn't know whether or not that was his last home game in East Lansing. But then this week, when he was named one of the 3 finalists for the Biletnikoff Award, just by talking about his career at Michigan State in a past tense, kind of gave everybody the feeling that with those kind of numbers, how can you do much better, and that he would come out and be in the NFL next year.
Well, he'll definitely be a first-round pick if he does come out.
Boy, will he ever. Up the middle, Richard rips off a nice run.
There's the future right there for Michigan State.
Takes it out to the 31-yard line, good for a first down. He's a big one, a true freshman out of St. Louis, about 230 pounds, and might grow into a T.J. Duckett-type size back.
Take a look from behind the defense. Nice hole, nice size hole in there. Ryland, number 16, the middle linebacker, misses the tackle. It gives Mayer, number 23, another chance to add to his league-leading tackles.
Mayer came in number 1, just ahead of Wright from Michigan State. Mayer had 125 coming in.
So about an average of a little over 11 tackles a game.
Anthony Adams went off for Penn State. Try to check on what his problem was. Charles Rush will take his spot on the defensive front. 1st and 10. Dowdell, play action. Stands in, now he's flushed out as he throws. Nice toss. Got it over Brian Scott, who was the up man. There was 2 guys back there covering, but Lovett hauls it in for a first down. Let's check in with John in New York.
Brad, watch this play by Michael Boulware. This is a fake field goal for NC State. Chris Young fumbles it. Boulware picks it up with one hand and never breaks stride the rest of the way. If he goes down with 2, he probably gets caught. One hand, he gets the easy touchdown. 84 yards. Florida State was going to go down 6-0. They're up 7-3.
Too many linebackers as fast as
he was a wide receiver in high school.
And as Mickey Andrews would say, he's still got a lot of wide receiver in him, and they could use it there on the touchdown. Here's the throw out. Lovett, another catch. Trying to put a move to the inside, and did. And Lovett's not quitting. Inside the 30 to the 29, 14 more yards for BJ.
Just about every defensive player for Penn State had a chance to tackle him there.
And he sidestepped most of them.
The thing that they could do here, Damon Dowdell can get a lot of good out of this game. Looks deep, covered, comes off to Lovett. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There were 9 of them that had a chance and finally brought him down.
But he got a first down at the 29-yard line. 3 wideouts now for Dowdell, who's 6 out of 11 for 77 yards. Trying to muster a scoring drive here. That one didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Loss of a couple. David Richard got smacked immediately. Tim Falls, who came in for Anthony Adams, made the stop. There's Anthony Adams. And it looks like maybe the lower back that they're working on.
Yeah, he's getting up. He's a defensive lineman.
He's not done playing. He's too tough. He'll be back out there.
He just got more energy. We were talking with Tom Bradley, defensive coordinator. He says we have to slow him down.
They can't get him to slow down in practice.
No.
2nd down and 12. Play action. Dowdell zips it out. Nice catch by the tight end, Jason Randall. Both Randall and Eric Knott will see a lot of action in the 2 tight end set today. Larry Johnson shares a Penn State record with 3 200-yard-plus rushing games in a season. What Michigan State running back did it 4 times in one season? Bob, you want to take
Go ahead, I got this.
You got it? I think I got it. Lorenzo White, I would say. Mike, you got a guess?
I got Sherm Lewis.
All right, that's not a bad call. Back at 63.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give you the answer after this play. I thought about Cedric Irvin. I thought about T.J. Duckett. I went with Lorenzo White.
Yeah.
Here's Dowdell. And broken pattern. Rogers, he had Rogers go to the end zone. Rogers was cutting outside. All right, Black trivia question.
I go Lorenzo, looky here. That's it. That's it.
Back in 85. He was a good one.
Yep.
Lorenzo White. And there was a guy at Penn State who put on a late charge with back-to-back-to-back 200-yard games that got him the Heisman Trophy. Is that what Larry Johnson maybe could do? Remember John Cappelletti in his Heisman year put together greats.
The only Heisman Penn State has ever got.
And they got that thing hidden kind of in the football office. If you ask me, it should be in a more prominent spot. Rainer's wide left for the 2nd time. This one from 39. So 2 kicks, one from 28, one from 39. They've missed them both, and they still have a goose egg on the board. They trail 28-0.
We should change before we pick up the girls. Okay.
Chevy Avalanche. It changes from a pickup to an SUV.
What are you doing?
Avalanche, like a rock.
Chili's, I love that spice. Chili's, boo boo boo, it's so nice.
We combine our famous chicken crispers, buffalo wings, and southwestern egg rolls to create the triple play appetizer. Want more flavor? Come to Chili's.
Now there's a better way to soothe your skin after shaving. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm has advanced moisturizers and vitamins to soothe and improve your skin. Nivea for Men. More evolved skincare.
There's a light in your soul that says you're one of a kind. Don't ever let it go. Be original, an individual, like Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. Dr. Pepper. Be you, do what you do. There's nothing better. Be you, do what you do.
Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Mark O'Meara, Fred Couples in a Thanksgiving weekend classic. The ConAgra Foods Skins Game begins Saturday on ABC.
16th ranked Penn State, certainly looking all of that ranking so far in this first half. They lead 28-0. And they start at the 22-yard line. Here's a toss to Larry Johnson. Johnson off to the races, cuts to the middle of the field. Now it's a foot race. Larry Johnson, one man to beat. No way. Touchdown. He's over 200 in the first half. th rushing touchdown of the year, but the longest play Michigan State's allowed all season, 78 yards. When he made the cut back to the middle of the field, Bob, you knew it was over.
Oh, yeah, you knew it was over. I mean, it was almost too easy for him. It was a great run.
Crowd is just rocking at Beaver Stadium for their senior number 5, who is 56 yards shy of 2,000. Again, the snap. Now Gold picks it up, and he does a Garo Yepremi, and he'll go down.
Hey.
no knock on Garo, but that was kind of ugly. 208 yards, almost 15 yards a carry.
Only needs 56 to reach 2,000. A little fake into the line of scrimmage, and then a toss. Watch as it holds the linebackers. Look at these linebackers. Here's one. Here's the defensive end. They're going the other way around in. Brian Johnson, 24, gets a nice block. When he cuts back, he's got all these blue jerseys right there. He is gone. I mean, every time he gets the ball, he thinks big play. Guy leads the nation in rushing now, and he also leads in all-purpose yards, is 5th in scoring.
He's about 225 pounds. The coaches say it's between 5 and 6% body fat, and nobody ever runs him down from behind. It's amazing. He's trying to join a group that's pretty impressive, and the guys in the yellow have won Heisman trophies.
Yep, that's something special. He'll be there soon. But you see that shot previous before we put this graphic up? That was of the offensive line. Iorio and McKelvey and Lenda and Schmidt and Felder, and they are the ones that go to Paterno and say, hey, let's go. We need more yards. We want to get him 2,000.
Here's the kick, taken at the form by Hayes. Garrett Hayes back across the 20. and out to about the 22-yard line. There's the Big Eaters, and Larry knows a couple of weeks ago took him over to his folks' house, and they ate about 9,000 chicken wings, and then last week he took them out for barbecue.
Yep.
He might have to take them out for some fat steaks tonight. I don't know. A senior day to remember for senior Larry Johnson, and we've only played not even a half. That rushing, with the exception of Jefferson, the fullback, and Zach Mills on a quarterback draw, is all Larry Johnson. Dowdell had to cover it there and lost about a yard.
Saw Falls there. The defensive lineman and one of the offensive linemen had their face mask hooked and stuck together. They weren't talking to each other. They were just trying to get them loose.
Second down and 11, Michigan State. Spartans have missed 2 field goals. Anthony Adams is back out there, by the way. We told you old Sugar Bear would be back out there. Here's Dowdell. Haynes has it. And Haynes with a sack. And now Haynes is a half sack away from the Penn State single season record. That's 14.5 for Michael.
Michael came in. That's Otney, the center.
Otney, as I said earlier, he's the guy that tries to set the tone out there for their offensive line. One of the captains, 300-plus pounder.
Otney there in the center. Good hit from behind.
Yeah, he's going to get rolled up on. That happens so often.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's friendly fire, and sometimes it's just the whole pile rolling your way.
The offensive linemen, all of the offensive linemen wear braces, the heavy braces, just because of that.
Even with that, you can see he's going to have some help going off. It's the right knee.
You hate to get hurt. I mean, on the left side of your screen, you're going to get rolled right up there. It gets twisted a little bit. You know, the last game of the year, you hate to have an injury because it's rehabbing, especially if it's a serious injury. You made it through the whole year, and then you finally get to the end of the game, the end of the season, and then you get an injury.
And while Brian goes down and DeMarco Monroe has to come in, there's number 81, who's got 14.5 sacks now. Larry Cuban is the guy that holds the record. He's passed Courtney Brown, who was the #1 pick of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And that's good company. Michael's really had a great season. He had a subpar year last year, and he's come out gangbusters.
Yeah, he had a good game early in the year, and Joe said, that's what I want from you. He not only leads the conference in sacks, but also tackles for losses and forced fumbles with 7.
That's a pretty good trio combination there when you lead all 3 of those categories from a defensive end spot.
Well, you know,
delay a game. The 3rd and 16s are going to become a 3rd and 22 here, or 3rd and 21 rather.
Talk about Michael Haynes leading the league in forced fumbles. A lot of times that right defensive end, you're rushing the quarterback from his backside, come around and just knock the ball out. He's got that technique down. This is the 4th time you got 3rd and longer, 3rd and 10 or longer for Michigan State. That's not good.
Mike's another one of the seniors, a guy that came in as an undersized fullback or tight end, and they made him a pretty good defensive end. Dowdell, probably a holding call as he lets go of the ball and got it to Lovett. But again, a flag down, looks like holding from where they threw it. And Michael Haynes says it's going that way, and he's right. It is holding against Michigan State. Hendricks, one of the guys, Haynes, one of the guys up for the Ted Hendricks Award from defensive end spot.
He has had an outstanding year. As we mentioned, that whole defensive line, 3 fifth-year seniors. Kennedy, who has gotten all of the preseason publicity, Jimmy Kennedy, and Haynes, who has started off the year, and Joe said, that's what I want from you. And then Michael says, oh, is that what you want? So I go out and I'll give you some more, and I'll get some sugar. And then, as we mentioned, Anthony Adams, the nose tackle on a lot of these defensive plays, is probably the unsung hero. He does more in there to free up those other guys and gets none of the respect.
They're going to decline the holding call because it's going to bring up a punting. situation. That means Jason Daly will kick. There's Anthony Adams. Let's check in with Mike.
You guys were talking about Anthony Adams. My favorite story of the weekend was lunch with Joe Paterno, and we were trying to ask him what kind of kid Adams was. And Joe said, you know, when he was a freshman, we'd have a practice. He'd come over and tap me on the rump and say, way to go, coach. Good practice. And I can't imagine being 18 years old and doing that to Joe Bob.
Joe said every time he had the huddle after the practice to tell him what they did right and did wrong, as Brian Johnson takes the punt return. Joe said it was so weird. He said he was always the front guy in the huddle, and then as they headed to the locker room, every practice he'd say, good job, coach, and pat me on the butt. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest lasting trucks on the road. Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light, cold down easy. And Aflac, ask about it at work. Darkness coming over Beaver Stadium, and what would have been the shadow of Mount Nittany had we had any sunshine today. It's getting down around 30 degrees. We've had windy conditions the last 2 or 3 days in this area. No snow yet, but we had that chance. Here's a draw play. Here goes Larry Johnson into Michigan State territory. 12 or 13 more before Eric Smith can bring him down.
Yeah, and always bouncing forward. And every time he gets hit or tackled, he's always bouncing forward.
Remember, 3 times in the last 5 games, Larry Johnson has set the single game rushing record for Penn State. He comes into this one today needing 264 yards for that amazing 2,000, and he's got 221 here in the first half as Penn State leads 34-0 with 5 minutes and 39 seconds remaining in the first half. They'll toss it to him. Waits for his blockers. Cuts outside. Got the corner. Got about 7 more. Paul Jefferson. Nice block to lead the way. Larry Johnson, who has done it all. And on this one, he ripped off a 78-yard touchdown, a 1-play drive. As Bob said, he's a 1-play, big play machine. He's proven it all year.
He's always looking for the big play.
228, 14 a pop, and 36 shy of 2,000. As I said, the drama might be over by halftime about the 2,000 thing. Zach Mills throws it out wide, opens brother Tony Johnson. And Tony might have had a face mask at the end of the play. Is out of bounds at the 21.
The wide receivers have single coverage because there's 8 guys from Michigan State inside to stop Larry Johnson. That's Papa right there.
Personal foul, face mask. So they tack that on to the end of the play, and it's going to take it down around the 10-yard line. And there you see it right there.
That's a true freshman, Watson.
And he's a starter. 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Penn State looking for more, already leading 34-0. Johnson on a toss. He's on his way. Touchdown number 3. Wow. Look who's there to meet him. All the big eaters.
Yep. Yep. That's a special time.
Dad looking on with a smile. You know who doesn't get enough credit? Mom, Christine. She's the one that raised the whole family. He's oh so close. And we still got a lot of football left. Joe Pa talking to the senior Larry.
Yeah.
Look at the smile. How proud can he be, huh?
I think back to a few years ago. We'll get that to him.
I was going to say, you know full well how proud he is. You had the same feeling. Extra point by Gold is good. Ohio State with a thumping of Michigan State, courtesy of number 5. His 3rd touchdown of the day, capping a 60-yard scoring march. And Dad says, kid can do it.
We don't make the car, we make it more colorful. We don't make a lot of the products you buy, we make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
When life throws you a tough pitch, that tests your staying power, it never hurts to have a deodorant with a little extra muscle.
New Arm & Hammer Ultramax Wetness Protection plus the pure power of baking soda. Time release for long-lasting odor protection.
Extra muscle for the game of life.
I don't follow instructions very well. I can't turn things on. I can't find the buttons. I like to get in and do things and see what happens. And I like to noodle with things. My G4 allows that to happen. It's beautiful, it's sleek. I wanted to touch it. For someone that is that technically challenged, I think that was my way in. Macs are friendly to people like me. I'm Yo-Yo Mom, and I play the cello.
If you're just joining us, it's 41-0 Penn State. Here's the kick. Maples is 5 yards deep. He won't bring it out. So Michigan State on the short end with 5:10 remaining in the first half. And Bob, let's go back as we talked about Larry Johnson and the smile that Dad had on his face after his son just took it in for the 3rd touchdown. And you remember it very, very well in Brian's senior year.
Well, I do. And it's been 5 years ago this very day, this weekend. It was when Michigan was playing Ohio State. They beat Ohio State at Ann Arbor to go to the Rose Bowl, have a chance for the national championship, and went on. No, when you're in broadcasting or when you're in coaching and you have a son that plays, you don't always have the opportunity to see him play. I was fortunate to broadcast some of his games, and Larry Johnson is very fortunate to be on the sideline watching his son play. Those moments are very special.
The old man down here on this sideline can actually give him an occasional high five. And I know how you live and die with the Denver Broncos every week. And with Brian getting hurt last week, I was on the phone to you saying, how bad was it, as quick as I could get a hold of you.
Yeah.
And, you know, every week is like that. And thank goodness Brian's going to be okay shortly, we hope. And this guy, there's nothing wrong with him.
Well, you know, the enjoyable thing was, you know, I was there and I was doing his games and I was being very fair to both sides. But then when you took the microphone off and you went downstairs and you got in the locker room, then you were father and son, and it was a great moment. This is going to be a great moment for the Johnsons.
Dowdell looks like holding on Haynes, but I don't see a flag as Dowdell just throws it out of bounds. Michael Haynes has got to be saying, ref, how much jersey does he have to do to pull me down?
You remember a couple of years ago, Larry Johnson, when the team was not winning?
Right.
Larry Johnson was one of the guys as a redshirt freshman, a redshirt sophomore, who questioned Joe Paterno and questioned some of the guys. You know, it was really a shock. And for him to come out and say, hey, we're not doing what we should be doing. We ought to be doing this. Our offense is too predictable.
Right.
We ought to be more open, and we ought to do this. And Franny Ganner was talking about that the other day and said, you know, he said it, and we all agreed with it.
Everybody might have been thinking about it, but Larry's the only one that said it.
Yeah. And Joe said, maybe we are. Joe didn't give him a lot of static for being a young guy speaking up. Around here, you wait your turn.
Right.
Juniors and seniors play. The freshmen and sophomores, you know, you just get in line.
Joe also said Larry Sr. came into my office, shut the door, and said, suspend the kid.
Yeah.
And Joe said, he's just speaking his mind.
Yeah, and he said he's probably right. And he was right. And that sometimes you need that. Even when you're a legend, you ought to listen to the young guys, and maybe they're right. And he did.
check in with Mike.
And Brad, there was a very poignant moment right before the opening kickoff. They introduced Larry Johnson. The place went crazy for his final game in his senior year. As he came through, his dad, Larry, was waiting for him, gave him a big hug. His mom, Christine, gave him a big hug. And guess who was waiting next? It was his brother, Tony. And Tony and Larry embraced for a good minute. And when they pulled apart, there were tears in both of their eyes. Tony jogged off the field knowing that Larry was going to the NFL next year, and he'd be back here one more time trying for the same goal.
There's the lady I said deserves a lot more credit. Christine on the left. That's Teresa on the right. She's a third baseman on the Penn State softball team. I mean, Joe's got to be thinking, why couldn't mom and dad be younger and give us a whole other batch of Johnsons?
I'm not so sure that the sister's not the best athlete.
That could be. She's Tony's twin sister. From the 22 on 3rd and 8. Down to Ellen. Trouble, and down he goes. I don't think they're going to give Haynes part of that. Jimmy Mitchell, the linebacker, did most of it. Otherwise, it would have been the half sack that Haynes needed to join the single season sack record. But I think Mike was just in the area. Jimmy Mitchell did most of that work. Michigan State is 0 for on their 3rd down conversions. 0 for 8. It's been a tough day. A really tough first 2 quarters. Look out for the other Johnson. He's not related, but he can kill you too, as he's already taken a punt return for a score and had another one that was one he almost broke open. Daly to punt.
And from this field position, you almost feel like you're running downhill.
He's going to have a shot at it. Brian Johnson from the 47. He just powers through people up to the 40. Nice return. Our Pacific Life game summary. Larry Johnson's been most of the offense, but don't forget Zach Mills' quarterback draw from 5 yards out was good for a score. Bryant Johnson, 81 yards on a punt return for a score. And then Bryant Johnson on the receiving end from Zach Mills on a perfect pass for another touchdown. Now the crowd is starting to anticipate 2,000.
36 yards is what he needs.
People are standing up out of the shotgun. Here's a handoff inside. And only got about a yard. I don't know that I've ever been at a Penn State game where everybody at the same time stood up, other than on a score. But when the offense took the field a moment ago, everybody stood up for number 5, and I think it's going to be one of those things where they don't sit down until he gets 2,000.
You got a couple things working here. You got it's 41-0. It's going to be that or more at half. You got a running back who wants to get 2,000. You got Joe Paterno not wanting to embarrass the other team on the other sideline.
2nd down and 8. Larry Johnson closing in on the magical number. Gets the toss. Johnson, here he goes. This is 2,000 plus for Larry Johnson. Touchdown, Penn State. And he does it with style. 38 yards, his 4th touchdown of the day. And look at his lineman.
They know, and she knows.
Yards for the senior. Let's see if the old man meets him on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
He might have to wait in line. There's little brother Tony. And now here comes Dad and son. There it is. Good job, boys. Both of you.
Proud of you.
You raised a good son. You raised a great running back. Gold for the extra point.
It's all been worth it.
Sure has. I know Michigan State doesn't like it too much, but it's been fun for us to be part of it. The 10th player in college football history with over 2,000 yards, and he does it in less than a half. As Bob said, every play with him could be a big play. Here comes another one.
He's looking for it, runs right through it. Now, part of this, I mean, this is a lot of Penn State, but it's also some of Michigan State just kind of not making the plays and giving up. This is not a good Michigan State defense. And there it goes.
What a way to do it. There's little brother Tony into the mix. Here come the Hogs. And Mom, her eyes look a little teary, don't they? There we go. She's got the camera with the big lens, but all she wanted to do was celebrate. She forgot about the pictures.
What'd she say? My baby?
My baby. Touchdown, my baby.
Yeah.
The folks that didn't know, they just saw it on the scoreboard. But there's a whole bunch of people that knew a long time before that, because there's flash bulbs going on all over this place. Kick will not be returned again. That last drive, well, it was just Larry Johnson at the steering wheel. 2 plays, 40 yards in 46 seconds to put him over the 2,000 mark. So the newest member of the 2,000 club, and that's some pretty high cotton right there.
Yes, sir. Pretty high cotton.
Could there be a Heisman at the end of all of this? Who knows? Some people would say, is 9-3 good enough? We've heard people question what he did in the games against the teams they lost to. I think what people fail to realize, he may not have had the best rushing games in there, but go back and look at his kickoff returns and his receiving statistics in those games.
Yeah.
You might change your mind a little bit.
As we said, coming into the ball game today, he led the nation in all-purpose yards. That's returns, passing, and rushing yards.
And he's way the #1 rusher now, because Chris Brown's idle today for Colorado.
Exactly.
At the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Man, I wonder who that might be for Penn State. We're going to have to think about that one pretty hard. Second down, and here's a nice first down run for Hayes. Jaron Hayes goes up. Mitchell and Mayer make the stop. And we're down to 2:21 remaining in the first half. It's amazing. People are still taking pictures. I don't know what they can see out here, if they can even find Larry Johnson in the mass of humanity in those blue jerseys on the sideline, but they're trying to get a picture of this guy.
That is the 3rd time he's rushed for over 200 yards this year, and one other time he rushed for over 300.
He had 327, which is the single game record, and that was in their last outing, the win over Indiana. If they leave him in, I can tell you he's going to better that too, but he might be done for the day. The throw almost picked off by Brian Scott. It was intended for Charles Rogers. Coming up on Friday, warm up the leftovers and join ABC Sports for a great college football doubleheader. Action starts at noon Eastern. It'll be Texas A&M against number 11 Texas. Then at 3:30 Eastern, number 17 Colorado, after their week off this week, taking on Nebraska, also idle today. That'll be Friday at ABC Sports. A class of college football. And
couple of classics, huh?
Yep, Bob and Swanee and I and the group will be down in Lincoln.
Nebraska's tough to beat at home.
Yes, they are. Texas able to do it this year to snap their long winning streak, but Colorado will come in a little more rested and maybe not as banged up. But Colorado knows they're going to the Big 12 championship game. The other participant will be decided in the Texas Tech-Oklahoma battle. And that's going on later on today. 3rd down and 8 coming up here for Michigan State in the final minute and a half of the first half. 3rd down has not been too special for the Spartans today. 0 for 8. Dowdell, here comes a blitz. Swings it out to Hayes out of the backfield. And Hayes trying to get to that first down marker. I don't think he got there. I think he's about a yard or two shy. Nice tough effort after the reception. And it's going to be 4th down and almost 2. Larry Johnson's got his helmet back on. I think he's going to try to sneak back out there, whether Joe wants him to go out or not.
I bet we don't see much of him in the second half.
I don't think so either. We might see more of him here in the last minute. I don't know, but Jason Daly will be set to punt. Bryant Johnson on the other end. Bryant Johnson with a big game with a punt return and a reception for a touchdown. He's going to get another shot here from the 21. Broke 2 tackles before he got out to about the 31-yard line. Some of you will be going to another ball game with this one right now, at least Penn State in total command. Larry Johnson, well, maybe they're going to call him back. I don't know. I think he wants to go back out, and his coach, well, he's going to win the, I don't know if there was any kind of argument, discussion.
All the eyes of this crowd are on one guy right now.
That's right.
when he turned around away from the bench and went out on the field, there was a loud cheer.
So the man of the 2 hours so far with 279 yards, and now they're taking him out. I think Joe wanted him to get a standing O so everybody knew he was out there maybe. Whether or not we'll see him anymore, I don't know. He already has a single game record. He has the Penn State season record. He has the 2,000-yard club. He maybe has a pretty good shot now at a Heisman Trophy, and maybe he's done for the day. We'll just have to wait and see.
I don't think that worked right. I think Joe wanted to bring him off to a loud ovation and a thank you for all that he's done, and all he got was some boos from the crowd saying, I want to leave him in. Yeah, they wanted to leave him in.
Joe came over and had a word with Larry. Some of the other guys congratulating him, and Joe says, you know, we just got to do the right thing here now. It's 48-0. We don't have to make anybody look any worse than it's looked so far. Michael Robinson's in at quarterback, too. Whether or not Zach Mills' day is done, that's a pretty good possibility as well. So Penn State apparently on its way to the Capital One Bowl.
All-start offense. 5-yard penalty.
How do you know that, partner?
Well, I just think Michigan losing today. They haven't been to the Outback thing in a long time. Penn State hasn't been to the to Orlando in a long time.
There you go.
I'm guessing.
No, that's the way they do it. They get down there and
I'm thinking like those shenanigans that go on in the back rooms about all the bowl games.
They don't do that anymore.
No, they don't do that. Not too much. 2nd down and 12. The truck just said, you know about cigar-filled rooms. Thanks a lot, fellas. Here's Gasparotto. And Mike, nice gain to end the first half. Good run. And a guy that's had more and more good runs than pretty much anybody you'll see in a long time. Let's go down to Mike Mayock. Mike.
Hey, Coach, it's a great day. 48 points in the first half. Your defense is pitching a shutout. Tell me about the emotions of Larry Johnson and his family.
Well, he's got, I told his old man on the sideline, I said, Larry, it's come a long way from 3 years ago when I went to kick his rear end off the tee. He's a man playing boys. He's a great football player.
How about his dad and his family? Unbelievable.
They're great people, great people. You know, when I hired the dad, I didn't know he had 2 kids. Honest to God.
Thanks, Joe.
And he's got a daughter who's acting a softball player. But really?
I know. Hey, Brad, it's back up to you.
Well, Larry didn't move here until he was a freshman in high school, and now he is a senior in college. And as I said, Joe would probably like Larry Sr. and Christine to have a few more back at the nest. But at halftime, 279 yards for Larry Johnson. All Penn State, 48-0 as we send it back to Times Square Stadium. Here's John and Terry. Fellas.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. And Terry, there was just one team that knew today, walk off the field with a victory, they would be playing for the national championship. That team, the Ohio State Buckeyes, but they've been in this position before, and the Michigan Wolverines have upset those seasons. But they said not to be done this time around. Maurice Clarett, still injured, but able to play. What a big difference. He makes 29 yards. He busts this one, gets it down to the 11-yard line.
Well, he's the one guy on their team that can make big plays. When you get those long yardages, they don't have to settle for field goals. He can get them into the end zone because he has such great speed to go with his strength and power.
He did just that here from 2 yards out. Ohio State takes a 7-3 lead. Field goals were keeping Michigan around the game. Ohio State, Craig Krenzel, the quarterback, is sacked for a 7-yard loss, and the offense just was not clicking. But Krenzel goes 26 yards this time to Clarett. So he ran the ball, he caught it. Looked like he was waiting to get hit there before he went down. Maurice Hall then from 3 yards out goes in to score as Ohio State takes the lead. And then John Navarre, one last chance with time gone, gets picked off here towards the end zone by Will Allen, and the Ohio State Buckeyes have survived 14-9, their first perfect regular season since 1979. Craig Krenzel, 10 of 14, 122 yards. Clarett, 20 carries for 119 yards. Obviously a better team with Maurice Clarett in there. But this Ohio State team won this game the way they've won all season long, by just pulling it out with limited offense and good defense. Is that good enough to get it done for a national championship?
John, you know, all the time we talk about what does it take to be a national championship team? What's the most important part of it? It's great defense. If you can play great defense week in and week out, you're going to have a chance to win every game. That's how Ohio's done it week after week. They are the #2 defense in the country. They keep people scoring. Michigan did not get a single touchdown.
Yeah, and it reminds me of an Oklahoma team for a couple of years ago that knocked off your dad's team when everyone thought their offense was somewhat limited, but they got the national title. We will continue with more of the Capital One Halftime Show after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Because we can! Yes, we can!
Sorry about the dust.
Come on, guys, let's go.
The powerful new Chevy Trailblazer EXT. Room for 7. Room for everything.
I left the bagels in the jet.
Chevy Trailblazer, like a rock.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The Iron Skillet at Petro Travel Plaza, the area's best family value restaurant. The menu features many delicious home-style items and breakfast 24 hours a day. And don't forget the Iron Skillet's fabulous buffets featuring shrimp and prime rib every Saturday. Join us for our Thanksgiving feast for $9.95. The Iron Skillet, where you can have it both ways. A full menu or fabulous buffet in a pleasant atmosphere with terrific service. The Iron Skillet Restaurant at the Petro Travel Plaza, exit 178 off I-81.
WNEP Blast Stop to a bold new world. Planet Digital at 11.
The Capital One Halftime Show, brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? From Times Square in New York, John Saunders and Terry Bowden.
48-0 is the score. Penn State in the first half. You can't say enough about what a terrible season this has been for Michigan State. So let's concentrate on the positive. Larry Johnson has burst into the Heisman Trophy talks, if not the front runner right now. 9th player over 2,000 yards in one season.
And that's got to do it. We should have been listening to Joe Pa earlier when he talked about this guy is a Heisman candidate. He really is. He's such an outstanding runner to run so fast, so athletic, to do so many things for them. It's been an incredible year. This kind of late showing really puts him in good place for the Heisman.
And this from a guy who barely got a sniff of the field last year. Florida State has been a hot team of late and looking to compete their 8th unbeaten season since they joined the ACC. But NC State, direct snap goes to Josh Brown, and he fools everyone. 60 yards on this big play. A couple plays later, T.A. McClendon goes in, and this is what your dad's team had not been doing when they've been successful of recent days.
That's right. The last 3 weeks they've played very good football because they haven't been giving up the big plays on defense. But in this game that they have to win this ACC outright, they're now giving up big plays. It's costing touchdowns, and then the offense is just not putting points on the board.
And Michael Boulware, the points for Florida State have come with the defense, picking up a fumble and taking it in. USC against UCLA, both looking up at Washington State, but both have a chance to win the Pac-10. They need some help, though. Carson Palmer providing his own type of help. 51 yards looking for Kerry Colbert. USC has a 14-0 lead. The game's not even 5 minutes old. Palmer again. Going to pass, right? Well, flushed out of the pocket. Sees an opening. Takes it down the sidelines. And watch the flip at the 1-yard line. Doesn't get it in, but it sets up Justin Fargas from a yard out. He takes it in. USC has just scored again. The extra point pending. 34-7. That point is good. It is now 35-7. Carson Palmer, you see, with his 3 touchdown passes. Kansas State against Missouri. This is one of those punt returns where it just fooled everyone on the kick team. Newman gets it, backs up a couple of steps, and then boom, right up the middle. No one gets a hand on him. Nobody gets near him. 71 yards. Kansas State has a 7-0 lead. Darren Sproles also has a touchdown run. And this is a squad for Coach Bill Snyder that really has it going late. Too late to get into the hunt for the national championship, but still 17-0 impressive run.
Yeah, John, they're probably one of the hottest teams in the country. And they're so good offensively because they got so many threats. They got L. Roberson at quarterback who could make the big play. Darren Sproles at tailback. You try to overplay one, the other one hurts you. It's incredible. People haven't been able to stop it all year.
All right, a game you know a little bit about. Auburn against Alabama. You coached in a few of those, and you were pretty successful in them as well. Today, Auburn quarterback Jason Campbell found the success early. 14 yards, looking for Robert Johnson. Johnson is there. Nice move. Then to the sidelines, leaps into the end zone. 7-0 with the lead. Campbell and Johnson not done. They hook up again. This one covers 11 yards as Auburn takes a 14-0 lead. And for Alabama, they're on probation, so no postseason. This is how they're going to get their kicks if they're going to get it, by knocking off Auburn, but their work cut out.
That's right. Being on probation, they say, you know what, if we can win the West, win everything on the field, it would be that kind of season. But if they lose to Auburn, it's all over. It's a huge game. They have to win this game now. If Auburn holds on to win this game, they will now still be in the SEC West race. A loss to LSU, a loss to Arkansas will have to come by either of those teams.
Yeah, those 3 teams vying to meet Georgia, who's already clinched the SEC East. Byron Leftwich, knocked out of a game a couple of weeks ago, came back, had to be carried to the line, missed the next game. He is back into the lineup today, 7-3 though. Marshall is trailing Ohio in this one. Chad Brinker has a touchdown run in this one. This has been the latest I can remember since I've been voting for the Heisman for 11 years that there's been no clear-cut favorite. Larry Johnson has burst on the scene late. But Byron Leftwich is going to be a guy who's going to garner a lot of votes simply because it is splintered this year more than ever.
That's right. It always goes down with different people. Look, it's a lot of people being considered. And he's thrown for so much honor. He has a chance because so many of the early contenders are not in the race.
If you were looking at your ballot, do you take in the fact that it's out of the Mid-American Conference? Does that mean anything to you? Because obviously the guys in front of them are the same as the competition as far as ability goes.
Well, I think everybody does. They may not need to, but they really do, because you say, look at the competition he's played against. Look at the other people. Chad Pennington did a great job. They didn't vote for him. So he's really got to finish strong. He's been injured. He'll really have to have a good showing the next few weeks.
The difference is the NFL thinks this guy might be the best player in college football. It's going to be an interesting race. Back with more in a moment.
Welcome to the Capital One All-America Mascot Pageant with ESPN's Kenny Mayne and Trey Wingo.
Polyester and proud, mascots of America.
Stay tuned for the exciting competition.
If you had but one wish, what would it be? World peace.
Go to CapitalOneBowl.com to vote for your favorite mascot to win the National Mascot of the Year scholarship.
What's in your wallet?
Hurry, Jake.
Are leaders born, or do they rise out of adversity? At AIG, we believe the greatest risk is not taking one.
Welcome back to Times Square Stadium and the Capital One Halftime Show. John Saunders alongside of Terry Bowden. One team that was not expected to do very well this year, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.